G'day guys and welcome back. I often say how I don't watch these videos before writing the script. Yes, these videos are scripted. While this is true for this particular video, I had to watch the whole thing before I could write this introduction. I decided there is nothing I can say that's going to prepare you for it. So let's just dive right on in. Enjoy.
Once again, the AI demonstrate how people will gravitate to quote-unquote truths, not because they are based entirely on empirical fact, but because they satisfy the instinctual need for structure and stability.
The AI, as in artificial intelligence, something that we haven't even created yet. Also, these truths you speak of are what truthers believe. Facts don't care what your opinion is. They're just facts.
For argument's sake, let's imagine somebody who has spent half their life advocating a belief that the Earth was flat.
Plenty of them around. Around. Get it?
That the government wants people to believe it is round for territorial reasons.
Oh, I hate the way you don't leave any pauses and you rapid fire in all this crap. What possible benefit does a globe have for territories? It makes no difference at all if the Earth is a globe or if it's flat in that case.
Let's say the flat earther is presented conclusive information that proves the Earth is round.
I can think of a dozen people that provide this information on a weekly basis. Yet, flat earthers are still around.
If they accept that they were wrong, that would mean they spent over half their life advocating falsehoods and manipulating impressionable minds.
To err is to be human. Everybody makes mistakes.
What toll would that realization take upon their soul? If they don't accept that they were wrong, they will accept a more convenient truth to protect their emotional persona.
I can't argue with this. We see that on an almost daily basis.
Such a truth might be that the evidence presented to them was doctored, and that the person presenting the information is a government shill.
A common argument, yes. I'm still waiting for my big NASA money too, by the way.
This behavior extends not just to conspiracy theorists, but anybody with a political position.
Not exactly. It only extends to those with an extreme political position, and people change their political positions all the time.
This is the reason why millions of people continue to advocate for political systems despite their proven track record of killing millions of people.
What? That made no sense. Political systems don't kill people. Where are you getting your information from?
This is why people still uphold certain superstitious beliefs despite their scientific invalidity.
People are pretty stupid. Can't disagree there.
This behavior is not relegated to a few irrational individuals. It's something that everybody does.
I don't do it.
Regardless of their political position. I do it, and you do it. And worst of all, in a democracy, the emotionally fragile have a say in what is truth.
Since the emotional fragile make up such a small percentage, it's irrelevant if they have their say or not. Democracy also has its flaws, but it is the best system we've developed thus far.
Which the AI shall now criticize.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
Wait. Are you implying that Metal Gear Solid 2 contains an actual AI?
Done nothing but abuse your freedom.
You don't deserve to be free.
We're not the ones smothering the world. You are.
Because the AIs grew out of the White House's quote-unquote primordial soup.
OMG you are. Do I destroy this argument now, or should we continue to see how far down the rabbit hole this actually goes?
They recognize the inherent value of freedom and the responsibility that comes along with it. In their mind, Raiden and billions like him take all the benefits of freedom without accepting any of the responsibility that comes along with it.
That was the point of the game. A game released way back in 2001 and developed in Japan. What the hell does it have to do with the US government at all?
Instead of using their freedom to seek out truths that foster the human race, they resort to partisanship and ideology to make sense of the world. Instead of being introspective and considering the potential faults in one's position, they will cast the blame elsewhere. The result of this is stagnation, and soon afterwards, violence. This extends not just to our leaders, but to ourselves.
It was also just a game that had giant mechs in it. I don't recall ever seeing any giant mechs anywhere. Ever. Can you not differentiate between games and reality? If you can't, you really shouldn't play GTA.
At this juncture, I feel the need to repeat something I said in the first video.
There are more videos about this? Oh no.
I am not for censorship or controlling information whatsoever. I think the ultimate conclusion that the AIs come to is wrong. Even if they were right, I am certainly not giving up the ability to control my own life and make my own decisions.
Nobody should. However, making your own decisions also has consequences.
But put aside their conclusion and consider whether or not their arguments are wrong. Do human beings consume fake news and accept it as truth?
Of course they do.
Do billions of people hold beliefs that are objectively wrong?
You know it.
Can ideologues and fundamentalists negatively influence our societies?
Heard of the Dark Ages?
If the 20th century is any indication, it only takes one bad idea, and maybe even one bad person, to ruin the world.
I assume you speak of a particular mustache-clad German man.
In the social media age, this ruination becomes all the more likely, as almost anybody can build up a large enough following to influence millions of minds.
Ah, so you too know of Nathan Oakley.
They don't even need a large following. They could just covertly produce a system like the one the AIs are proposing. And when AI inevitably comes to be, maybe our reality could see its reflection in the reality of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, sweet. We'll get giant mechs and ultra-realistic VR. Sign me up.
For the sake of time and brevity, I will skip over the next few minutes of this conversation.
Me too. He basically summarizes the game. We've all played it, and if you haven't, it was released in 2001. What have you been doing with your life? And we all know how it ends.
That emotional desire was so strong that it prevented any form of rationality. This emotional desire overcoming rationality is reflective of many different situations in our everyday lives. We see it in our news feeds, on our social media, and even in our own actions.
Yes. People don't think before they speak.
Unlike human beings, AI are not prone to emotion. For this reason, the AIs feel they are the saviors of humankind.
You do realize that the AI in the game isn't really an AI and was written by two people and thus reflects what they think and believe. Not to mention that the game was released long before the advent of social media.
They will control thought so human beings may live in blissful ignorance, and the AIs no longer have to tolerate mass stupidity. In their victory, the AI mocks Raiden for his various faults.
If he wasn't shown his flaws, he could never have learned from them. I'll skip the gameplay section for copyright reasons.
Is this our future?
Not even remotely.
If we have no systemic solution to the problem of fake news, and we continue to drown in overflowing information, what will our society become? This is why fake news exists.
Do you get all your information from games?
This is why echo chambers crop up all over the internet, despite the wealth of information available to us that should allow us to live in accordance with truth.
Ah, but whose truth? A flat earther tells us that the earth is flat. They are being truthful since it is what they believe. The fact the earth is a globe is irrelevant to them, as they see it as a lie. It is not the truth that matters. It is the facts that matter.
It is because living in accordance with truth and developing a sense of free will can be life-threatening, so people choose to embrace falsehoods in order to protect their sanity.
There is also the whole social factor. People tend to want to fit in and will often simply go along with current trends. Just take the iPhone for example. I'll skip the next game bits too.
As I briefly referenced in the first video, there is one thing that can be done. We must rediscover the power that an individual holds. If a single person has the potential to ruin the world, a single person has the potential to save it.
This is also a bad path to follow. Referring back to the particular mustached German man, he thought he was saving the world.
I hold no delusions of grandeur for myself, but I know that there is strength in numbers. If enough people wake up to the complex problem of misinformation, half-truths, and fake news, and do everything in their power to live in accordance with fact rather than tribalistic instinct, we will most certainly survive.
You're assuming that humanity deserves to survive. As I said earlier, free will also has consequences.
But even better than that, we will be able to preserve our freedom for the coming generations. The power is in your hands.
While a seemingly good message, one must remember that this comes from the position of masks are bad and a form of control. The irony of this video is palpable. Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this journey into the strange world of a conspiracy theorist. As always, a special thank you to Purple Haze and Pyramid Head for their ongoing support over on Patreon. And to you, dear viewer, a simple message. Wear a damn mask. Until next time, friends, don't be a dick.